Hello all, Chief Prepper here. Gonna do a short video. Today is a payday prep for me. I'm not gonna show you everything I got. I spent $610 for 2 flashlights, 2 white headlamps. The headlamps came with batteries. I had to buy C-cell batteries for the flashlights. And then of that $610, 120 of that was flashlights. The rest was groceries and some batteries. I bought soap. So I bought some vinegar. Stocked up on canned goods. Got a big package of paper towels, got another thing of toilet paper, 2 laundry soaps, vinegar. So basically $485 in groceries and $120 in flashlights. So some people might say, why are you spending so much money? I went on vacation, so last month I didn't buy hardly any groceries, but I left money for my wife to buy whatever she needed while I was gone. She held down the fort while I went and took care of something. There's some definitely shelf renting going on. I bought all 4 juice jugs that they had. I bought some coffee for my dad, coffee for me. Those are both very expensive because they're the Keurig pods. I opted to take my Keurig with me instead of a regular coffee pot, because on the road making 1 or 2 cups is quicker than making a whole pot. And in the mornings when I was on the road, I was more interested in getting on the road than waiting 20 minutes for coffee. So, bought 2 bread flours, 5-pound bag of sugar, pretty much 10 or 12 cans of soup, probably 24 cans of assorted fruits, probably 12 cans of vegetables. I bought another pure water filter system with extra filters. The one that's on the kitchen sink has been acting weird, but in the end it's gonna get replaced. Bought some big lighters for the Easy Reach, the ones with the longer stem on them. I used one of those when I was on the road. I splurged, went ahead and KOA and had a campfire by myself. Had a couple beers. It was kind of nice. It was in Flagstaff, actually. Another thing I bought today for $354 was a liquid propane tank. And then 100-pounder, so I have a certain number on hand. Basically, if the grid goes down, I have roughly 50 days of power. So those 50 days I should be able to eat down. To my surprise, when I got back with the propane tank and the groceries, the 3rd solar generator, an EB240 that I had paid for and ordered, showed up early. Wasn't even supposed to be here until next week sometime. That is really good news. So, on the grand scheme of things, prepping wise, you know, they say you're never done, but other than buying meat for the rest of the month, which I have meat on hand, but I'm gonna start buying it as I use it instead of taking it out of the freezer. So, at least for this coming month, and then I'm gonna keep my eye on what the fuck's going on. So after doing all that, I went back into town because I live in the country, and much to my surprise, the credit union that I used, a branch that is closest to my house, was closed. Sign on the door said the system was down, which is really odd because right before I went there, I moved some money online, and then I had been using my debit card all day, well, for 4 different transactions. And then when I left the credit union because they were closed, I was going to get some cash from my dad. I went around the corner to another store and used my debit card. So I'm not exactly sure what the fuck or why it was closed. It really bothers me. So tomorrow, I have some money in the savings account, but I'm going and pulling all of my money out that I don't have to have for bills. So, just as an information thing, I don't have a huge audience. So if you watch this and maybe you go to the credit union or your bank and then your branch is closed for whatever reason, maybe drop a comment. Only reason it bothers me is because it's never happened before, ever. And I've been with the credit union since 1986. Of course, back then it was smaller. Now it's a pretty big credit union, but it's a little weird that a branch would be closed, with a sign down saying system down, but I can still use my debit card. And like literally 20 minutes before I got to the credit union, I had been online moving some money around. So in the end today, about close to $1,000 I spent on preps. I'm not done, but that's pretty much going to round out my preps for the month. So I've got 3 more things to do. Motorcycle insurance to pay for the entire year for 2 motorcycles this month. I got to renew my Guardian software thing on my Challenger. So it allows me to track it and do all kinds of other things with it. So Sirius Guardian. And then I need to go see the dentist on June 14th, and that'll round out the month of June for me. So, with this 70 days of grain running out for world reserves, and we're down to 65 by Monday, we'll be close to 60 days. I would keep my eye close on everything. And then with the diesel issue, it's kind of popped its head up, and now it's kind of not being talked about. People don't know it. When the trucks stop rolling, it don't matter how much money you have, there will not be anything on the shelves to buy. So I would encourage everyone to spend what you can on food, especially food that you can store, and preferably eat relatively easy, even if you have to eat it cold out of a can. I have MREs on hand. I want to get another case, but I saw them and I didn't buy them, and then now that I want them, that particular version of the MRE is not available, so I'm assuming they're diverting them to other things, because I have some at the commissary where I can buy them, which is a military version of a grocery store, but they don't have the version that I want. So the whole credit union thing is really what I want to let everybody know, and I'm not showing you my preps anymore because it's just not something I'm going to do, not with the current world situation and stuff. So yeah, I would stock up, folks. Stock up. I'm going to be stocking up on some medical supplies here and there. I'm just about ready to pull the trigger on Jace Medical, but I got to wait until later in the month, move money around. Hopefully that doesn't wind up biting me in the butt, but prep it up, stack it to the rafters, 4 or 5 rows deep. I mean, everybody be like, you're taking it out of somebody else's mouth, and not to be harsh, but somebody else's mouth ain't my responsibility. My dad and my wife and my animals are my responsibility. I also got a 3rd metal can, and I have 90 days of chicken feed supply on hand for my chickens. So I have about that amount of food on hand for the dogs that I take care of that are mine, and then my wife has been begrudgingly buying cat food and keeping enough on hand. So she took on taking care of some cats. So prep not just for your family of humans, but prep for your family of animals as well. So I'm working on a source here in San Antonio, Texas. If anybody reads this from around here or listens to this, there's a place called Behind the Oaks where you can go in on buying quarter, half, or whole cow when a guy slaughters one. So you can have an alternate source of beef that is not from the grocery store, but it's still meat. G Prepper out.